the first thing I want to do next is just get my three main objects that I'm going to be animating. So I'll be animating a round object, a squashed object, and a stretched object. So let's make those now. So obviously we have our round object. I need to not use my annotate tool right now. And I'm going to click over here just on my select. Okay, so we are going to apply that concept where the ball is round at the top and then it stretches, squashes, stretches is round at the top. And we're going to somehow seamlessly incorporate all of that into the timing. So let's do this. We've got our ball right here. Select it, and I am going to move it over to this spot over here by hitting G and Shift Y. Remember, if you hit Shift and Y at the same time and release, that makes it so your object does not move through the Y axis. And when you look over here at this location, look at how the Y is staying at 0. So cool. Set this over here. We're going to squash it. I'm going to set it a little below the floor because when I squash it, it's going to come back up. Just left click to drop it. I was playing around with it. I wanted to make sure that I had the same volume, and I decided that the long end is going to be 1.3 and the short end is going to be, the short squashed side is going to be 0.7. So, and whatever's in the middle, the Y, that'll stay at 1 for my scale. So I'm going to use that to squash this. I want the X, which is left and right, to be 1.3. So hit 1.3 and hit enter. You'll notice it gets wider. And then my Z, which is the up and down side, is going to be 0.7, and that's going to make it flatter. So now I've got it squashed. Let's insert the keyframe at 1. So click I, Loc Rot Scale. Perfect. Now we're going to move that up just a tad. Remember, each of these is going to represent 2. So we're going to multiply 2 times each of these because there's 24 keyframes in a second, not 12. Going 2 times 2 is 4. So our next keyframe will be at 4. We're going to move this ball up. So click on it, G, Shift Y, move it up just a tad. And I'm going to go ahead and make it round for a second. So I'm going to come back over here to scale, and I'm going to turn each of these back into 1. I've seen somebody do this. I don't know if I'll like it. If I don't, I can always get rid of it. So I insert and location, rotation, scale. Now let's move up to the next keyframe, which will be 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So we're going to grab our ball, G, Shift Y, move it up to the next little spot that we marked there. And this time it's going to be stretched. So the dimensions will be on the short side, the 0.7. Remember, we talked about that. On the long side, it'll be 1.3. Now I need to also rotate it a little bit. It's not going the right direction. So over here under rotation, you're going to rotate that around the Y axis. And I'm thinking let's try -20 and see if that does it. Nope, that's the wrong direction. Trial and error, try +20. Okay, I think that's a little too much. I might do 15. All right, that looks like that's a good trajectory for that to boom, pop up into that space. I might even do 13. Okay. Gosh, I might even do 12. Let's see. You can see it going. Sure, why not? That'll work. And then up here at 6, that's 6 times 2. That's going to be keyframe 12. But first, let me insert my keyframe. Don't forget to insert keyframes, people. That's big error. Loc Rot Scale. Okay, got my keyframe. Perfect. Let's go I'm going to jump. I'm just going to jump all the way up to 6, which would be 12. So come up to keyframe 12. And let's grab our ball and G, Shift Y, and move it all the way up here. And it's going to be round. I'm going to change my scaling back to 1, 1, 1. Now it's round again. Insert your keyframe. I, Loc Rot Scale. G, grab it, Shift Y, move it up here to the next spot. Okay, we're slowing it down now. Oh, I made a mistake. Can you tell what I did? What did I do? Hit Control Z. I forgot to move it up a keyframe. So remember, we're going by 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Now I can move it up there. G, Shift Y. Okay, move my ball up to that frame. I don't have to change the shape. Yay, I just have to hit I, insert locrote scale. Woohoo! Move up to 8 times 2 is 16. G, Shift Y, move that over to that spot. Perfect. I just slowed it down at the top by doing that. Insert locrote scale. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring it all the way down to, this says we're at 8, 9, 10, 11, right before 12. So 11 times 2 is 22. So I'm going to go up to 22, and I'm going to grab Shift Y, bring it all the way back down. I'm going to right click and release. I think I'm going to go down to 20. I'm trying to do a stretch, a round, and a squash. So there's like an in-between where you can see it go from stretch to squash. It's trial and error. What I really want you to get good at is figuring out how to get an idea in your mind and then having the tools to make it work. So I have an idea in my mind. Let's see how it works. So I can go 20, 22, 24. G, Shift Y, bring that puppy down where you want it. Oops, it's still over to the side too much for my liking. And I move it over here. Ding. Okay, scale it. 0.7 on X, 1.3 on Z. Rotate it, -12. Perfect. Set up, hit I, insert locrote scale. Now go up to 22. There's where we want to be. I'm going to G, grab it, Shift Y, move it down just a smidgen, and I'm going to turn that into a round ball. So just 1, 1, 1. Okay, it's round again. Hit I, insert locrote scale, keyframe, go up to 24, grab it, Shift Y, gonna bring it down so that little dot's down at towards the bottom. I'm gonna squash it, so that's gonna be 1.3 on the X and 0.7 on the Y. And I've got to put my rotation back at 0 so that it's flat. Now that I have that, I'm going to insert the keyframe. I am at 24 right now. So just for the sake of my viewing pleasure, so I don't have to let the play head run all the way through these 240 frames, I can change the end point over here on the right. I'm going to put 24 right now. I can change that as I get more keyframes entered, and let's just see how it looks. That looks really good. Okay, so once you've gotten to that point, go ahead and take a break and come back and do the next video.